Hello everybody, my name is Bill and this is the channel Rest to Resurrection. Today I want to do something a little bit different and maybe going forward, if this thing gets any traction, continue to do the same thing. Now, I thought it'd be fun if we were to have a more intimate conversation about life, philosophy, cars, Jeeps, automotive culture, and to that end I've started this little podcast and I want to share my thoughts and my ideas and try to connect more with my viewers and my audience. Now I've used this term several times over the last many videos where I say that I did not retire to go fishing. So in this first episode, I want to share the roots of this saying and why I think that being busy, learning new things, exploring new places, and having new ideas are important, especially for those of us who are older and who currently make up the bulk of my subscribers. Now, I worked for 44 years for a very famous company, and if you go to my other channel, 6 Round Studio, you can learn more about what that company was. And their products had a brand following much like your favorite football team or maybe your favorite NASCAR driver. We in that company could do no wrong with our customers, and when we did, we would hear about it. Our customers were fiercely loyal, and they were also opinionated. It is a small town where it is located, where most of the employees were family friends, or someone who knew someone. But by the year 2007, 58 years after the founding family let go of the company, a new management team was brought in, and these people were corporate. They had a mandate from the board of directors to take the company in a completely new direction. The idea was to upend everything that came before, and then to reinvent the entire system from what we manufactured to how we made it and how it was all managed. Now, I'm not talking down the whole new thing that we were about to do, because it took our company from being on the edge of failure to holding the number one position in the market, and we did that in less than 4 years. New blood, new ideas, rescued a company from its long history of sameness with its narrow expectations to what now is a giant in the industry, with the profits and the profit sharing to match. But at the same time, there were some penalties to be paid. Many of the employees were dedicated old-timers who helped grow the founder's dream into the great company that all of those fiercely loyal customers had come to admire. But old is old, and new ideas were well past due. Many of those old-timers resisted the changes, thinking that change wasn't for them, so they just wouldn't participate. So you can imagine how that ultimately worked out. As part of the restructuring of departments, production methods, and management, many of the old jobs went away, and those people who did those jobs, some for decades, needed to be flexible and they needed to learn new things. New jobs, new ideas. Some folks did well, some did not. As a part of the changes, I was asked to leave the department that I was supervising and had been supervising for 30 years and take over another different department. The reasons that I was asked that aren't important here, but I was asked and I did. So back to that earlier reveal about jobs changing or going away, the company never laid off or fired anyone for the changes that they were making. They just placed those folks into new jobs and positions as those jobs and positions opened up. However, during the transition, they needed a holding place for these employees as these new products and machine lines were being built. They called that holding place the work pool. And it was a safe and effective way to keep employees engaged, busy, and being paid while the changes were being made. But here is where the sadness and the lessons learned begin. The work pool was incorporated into the new department that I was asked to manage, and every day my staff and I needed to place folks who were in the work pool with other supervisors who needed their help or needed their talents. In the pool, we had this one older worker, I'll call him Joe, that needed to be placed in a job every day. My staff and I always did our best to place him in any age-appropriate job that was available. But some days, those jobs just didn't exist, and I had to find work for him in the department that I was running. Now, the company never had any upper age limits on workers, some of which were in their early to mid-80s before they retired. Joe was an interesting conundrum. He was already well past his retirement age, but came to work every day because, as he told me, I need something to do. As he got older, the number of jobs available for him were becoming less, and giving Joe the ability and option to give 7 or 8 hours of meaningful work a day was getting harder to do. I had known Joe for years and worked with him on other projects in the past. But finally, I had to approach him and have a frank conversation. He would either need to be assigned a permanent position in one of the machine product cells or consider retiring. This was one of the toughest things that I've ever had to do. In our conversation that day, Joe said to me, "Bill, I don't have anything to do if I retire. I'd love to fish, but how much can I go fishing?" A few weeks later, Joe made what I know was one of the hardest decisions of his life. In his late 70s, Joe retired. He didn't live a year. Fishing just wasn't enough. My dad retired when he was 62, and he and Mom traveled the country in their motorhome until Dad was 72. But when he was home, Dad would run the business he had started when he was 36 years old. Dad died just a couple months before his 95th birthday. Still working in his shop, still serving his customers. Dad understood the need and value of purpose. But he also understood that purpose didn't come from someone else. Purpose is yours to have, and it's yours to create. I retired 6 years ago. I have purpose. Every night I go to bed excited about what I want to do tomorrow. This channel is dedicated to purpose. It's dedicated to new things, to learning new things, interesting things. And this is the root of my saying to not go fishing. Like my dad used to say right to the very end, live until you die. And he did just that. So should you. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We love you. We're glad you're here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.